So good. So yeah.
And how are you? Good to see you, Pastor. Pastor, this is the executive director for the Big Culture District. So, Veronica Garcia.
Nice to meet you. Oh, thank you. That's so nice.
He was starving. I'm starving. And let's get something for her. They don't always hit the Oscar Bowl start. I know they do this one year anyway. And with my executive session, I expect to be back.
But I
He'll be here through all of the business, regular business.
Do you have a card?
Like, what we're all in this.
Sit here.
yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, how are you?
Look at this. I promoted. I traded out my mobility advice for my wheelchair.
You look fantastic.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Take it to you, make it.
That's right.
So I'm good to see you again.
Yes.
I'm not as spry as I once was, but confident. I like the gracious gentleman. Yeah, and help me like pull my chair out. And we'll stand side by side for the presentation. And we'll walk through what it is we talked about today.
Yes.
Consider everything that came before this just a test.
That sounds wonderful. Thank you. You really
Today
enjoyed
is
it.
another test run. Well, okay. We'll get up there as many times as it takes. My best will tell you, right? I am just
That's what we like. That's what we want to hear.
That's right.
Awesome. Well, I'll be sitting right here.
okay, I'll look for you. Thank you, Commissioner. Oh, sir. It's an honor and a privilege.
Want to be closer? I'll scoot in as you get in there.
Thank you. Oh, thank you, sir. All right, so if you see me look at you like this chair is real heavy.
What's that?
I said, in case I turn around and look at you like this chair is real heavy,
Oh,
it's
okay.
because Beto and I are gonna speak on this one, the tabled item.
Are you going to present from here or are you going somewhere?
Yes.
I mean,
I'll try to stand at the podium
Okay.
so that she and I can stand together. So if you're still here for this one, and you see me look a little panic stricken that the chair is too heavy,
Okay.
that's what that look is about. Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
It is now 5:04 p.m. Pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act, notice was given that the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, in accordance with Article 5, Section 10 of the Charter of said city, would convene a regular meeting on June 21st, 2022 at 5 p.m. in the City Commission chambers located on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Old Federal Building located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Texas. Pursuant to Section 551.127 Texas Government Code, one or more commissioners or employees may attend this meeting remotely using video conferencing technology. The video and audio feed of the video conferencing equipment can be viewed and heard by the public at the address posted above as the location of the meeting. Members of the public, employees, and the City Commission may join via the WebEx teleconference meeting link provided at the City of Brownsville Agenda Center. This notice and meeting agenda were posted online at the Agenda Center, and members of the public wishing to participate in the meeting hosted through WebEx could also join at the phone numbers provided on the agenda. Members of the public who submitted a public comment form will be permitted to offer public comments as provided by the agenda and as permitted by the presiding officer during the meeting. A recording of the meeting will be made and will be available to the public in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. At any time during the course of this posted meeting, the Brownsville City Commission may retire into executive session under Texas Government Code 551.071 to confer with legal counsel on any subject matter on this agenda in which the duty of the attorney to the City Commission under Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct of the State Bar of Texas clearly conflicts with Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Further, at any time during this meeting, the City Commission may retire to deliberate on any subject slated for discussion at this meeting, as may be permitted under one or more exceptions to the Texas Open Meetings Act set forth in Title V, Subtitle A, Chapter 551, Subchapter D of the Texas Government Code. I will do a roll call. I have Mayor Mendez present in person, Commissioner Cowan present virtually, Commissioner Cowan, present in person. Commissioner Galonsky, present virtually. Commissioner De Los Santos, present in person. And Commissioner Cardenas, present in person. So we do have an in-person quorum, Mayor, and you may call the meeting to order.
Thank you. Call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody, and thanks for being here. And those that are watching online, thanks for watching. So
Our
first item,
Our next item is invocation.
Pastor.
Let's all stand for the prayer and remain standing for the pledge afterwards. Let's pray. Father God, we thank you once again for the many blessings we have here in the city of Brownsville, for our relative rate of safety, the low crime rate, the warm personalities that we find all around us. Lord God, we thank you for our new Congresswoman. We ask you to bless her as she's sworn in tonight in Washington, D.C. And Lord, we ask you to lead and guide all of our leaders from Washington to Austin to right here in Brownsville. Lead and guide our mayor and all the commissioners and everybody that's presenting anything for the very best for the city of Brownsville. And we thank you for all these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. And let's have a short moment of silence where we can all add our prayers to what has already been spoken. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Want to do the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Our next item is proclamations. Our first proclamation is proclamation celebrating the 25th anniversary of Make-A-Wish Rio Grande Valley during the month of June 2022. Mayor Trey Mendez and Commissioner Nurith Galonsky Pisania sponsoring the proclamation.
Thank you, Laura. I'm going to have Commissioner Gowan read this.
Is there someone here for this proclamation?
Mayor, I believe there was supposed to be someone attending virtually from the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Okay, great.
Yes, I'm here.
All right, wonderful, welcome.
Thank you.
So proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, celebrating the 25th anniversary of Make-A-Wish Rio Grande Valley. Whereas on April 29, 1980, Department of Public Safety officers and members of the community in Phoenix, Arizona, came together to grant the wish of Chris Grecius, a 7-year-old boy battling leukemia who wished to be a police officer. And whereas Chris's wish inspired 6 of the people involved to form a foundation that would grant life-changing wishes for other children with critical illnesses, hence the organization known as Make-A-Wish has since granted more than 520,000 wishes worldwide, operating in every community in the U.S. and in nearly 50 countries worldwide. And whereas Make-A-Wish Rio Grande Valley was founded in 1997 and has granted more than 1,430 wishes, that deliver hope and joy back into the lives of children with critical illnesses in the Rio Grande Valley community. And whereas research has shown that wishes can improve a child's quality of life and produce better health outcomes. When a wish is granted, a child replaces fear with confidence, anxiety with hope, and sadness with joy. Now, therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the charter of said city, do hereby recognize and celebrate the 25th anniversary of Make-A-Wish Rio Grande Valley in the city of Brownsville and celebrate the over 1,400 wishes granted to critically ill Valley children. Done on this 21st day of June, 2022, signed the mayor and the City Commission.
Do we have a representative for Make-A-Wish here? Would you like to say anything?
Yes, thank you. Hi, thanks. My name is Rebecca Ramirez, and I have my son Liam with me. My name is Rebecca Ramirez. I'm the president and CEO of Make-A-Wish Rio Grande Valley. Our director of Wishes, Erica, is also on the call. We're so proud to celebrate our 25th anniversary being in the Rio Grande Valley. Our chapter covers Hidalgo, Cameron, Willacy, Star, Brooks, Kennedy, oh gosh, and I know I'm forgetting one, I'm so sorry, Kennedy counties, and we've granted over 1,400 wishes. Just this month, we've granted 10 wishes for children with critical illnesses in the Rio Grande Valley. About a third of our wishes come from the Brownsville area, so we're so proud to be with you all today and to receive this proclamation. It's something that we're really proud of, and granting a wish is something that brings hope and joy, not only to the child with a critical illness, but to their family and to the community as a whole. So thank you for recognizing us, and thank you for continuing helping us in our mission to create hope and joy for children with critical illnesses.
Thank you for your work, and thanks for being here with us.
Our next proclamation is proclamation declaring Thursday, June 16, 2022 as International Domestic Workers Day in the city of Brownsville, sponsored by Commissioner Nurit Galansky Pasanya and Mayor Trey Mendez.
Bienvenidas, si gustan pasar, pueden pasar aquí adelante, gracias. This is a proclamation of the City Commission of Brownsville, Texas, declaring Thursday, June 16, 2022 as International Domestic Workers Day in the city of Brownsville. Whereas an estimated 69 million domestic workers worldwide make a significant contribution to the global economy, but their work continues to be undervalued and invisible, despite the light that the COVID-19 pandemic has shown on the importance of their work. And whereas domestic workers who maintain hygienic environments within households have been at the forefront of saving families, one household at a time, but have also been among the workers most affected by the COVID-19 epidemic as they provide essential personal and household care. Domestic workers are any person engaged in domestic work within an employment relationship. Their chores often include cleaning, maintenance tasks, and caring for children, the elderly, the sick, and the differently abled. And whereas lack of recognition as workers and multiple exploitations due to class, gender, race, and their migrant status has exacerbated their vulnerabilities and precariousness and exposed them to the full force of a global health emergency in which they are largely excluded from employment protection, Social Security, and health services. And whereas on June 16, 2011, the International Labor Organization adopted a landmark treaty, the Convention of Decent Work for Domestic Workers, also known as ILO Convention 189, setting out the rights of domestic workers, requiring countries to guarantee domestic workers the same rights as other workers regarding daily and weekly rest periods, working hours, overtime compensation, and adequate protection against violence, which then resulted in June 16th being declared the International Domestic Workers Day. Whereas the ILO will be celebrating the 11th anniversary of Convention 189 and has published a report about domestic workers worldwide titled Making Decent Work a Reality for Domestic Workers, Progress and Prospects 10 years after the adoption of the Domestic Workers Convention 2011, which compares the working conditions of domestic workers with those of the wider population, assesses how much work conditions have improved since the adoption of the convention, and the impact of COVID-19 on domestic workers. And whereas on this day, the City of Brownsville recognizes all domestic workers and their contributions to our local community, as well as the organizations that are united in working to ensure that domestic workers obtain a safe, fair, and protected work environment. For example, Border Workers United and la Alianza Nacional de Trabajadores del Hogar. Now therefore, we, the members of the City Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas, by virtue of the authority vested by the Charter of said city, do hereby declare Thursday, June 16th, 2022, as International Domestic Workers Day in the City of Brownsville, and urge all citizens to take recognition of these domestic workers and each of their contributions to our city and community, to ensure that domestic workers obtain the safe, fair, and protected work environment that they deserve, and to support the organizations united to protect them. Done on this, the 21st day of June, 2022, by myself as mayor and the rest of the City Commission. Thank you all. Thank you for being here. Gracias.
Can I get a photo?
Ah, una foto. ¿Quieren una foto por parte de la?
Sí. Oh. 1, 2, 3. Got it. Thank you.
Gracias. Gracias, hasta luego. Can you see all the commission?
Yes.
Okay, great.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you. Gracias, hasta luego. Gracias por estar aquí.
Our next item is our public comment period, and we have received no public comment forms. We'll move on to presentations. Our first presentation is Texas Ex's Brownsville Chapter Scholarship Recipients.
Good afternoon, Mayor Mendez, members of the commission. On behalf of the chapter members with the Brownsville, Texas Exes, I want to thank you for extending us the opportunity to be here with you. Brownsville's always had a very large presence, a strong presence on the 40 acres of the UT Austin campus, and this year is no different with the group of students that we have this year as our scholarship recipients, and I want them to kind of join me up here at the podium so they can introduce themselves. This year, we were able to grant 6 scholarships to incoming UT Austin freshmen. Right now, we have at least 4 other students right now that are currently under scholarship, renewable scholarship, so we're very pleased in terms of the representation. For our scholarship application, there were over 100 applicants, so it's a very competitive process. I'm very fortunate. I want to recognize some of the members that assist us with the scholarships: Leti Fernandez, David Vela, Ramon Fernandez, Jenica Russell, Michael Moreno, that have helped with the reading of the scholarships this year. So guys, if you all want to stand up so they could introduce themselves to you all. Again, come on up to the podium, please. And so again, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Karen Vera, and I went to Rivera High School, and I graduated as number 4 in my class. I am a recipient of the Texas Exes scholarship, and I will be pursuing a degree in pre-pharmacy, and then hopefully getting a doctorate in pharmacy at UT. And in school, I did many clubs. I did choir, I was in track and volleyball. I was involved in UIL mathematics and calculator, HOSA, and I just recently received a certification to become a pharmacy technician. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Cisa Castillo. I graduated from Porter High School as number 2 in my class. As a senior in Porter High School, I participated in Health Occupation Students of America and Business Professionals of America. I also recently got CT certified as a patient care technician due to my determination to become part of the medical profession. and I wish to continue this path at UT Austin by majoring in biology and continuing a pre-med pathway. Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Diego Alberto Arias, and I am a graduate of Simon Rivera Early College High School. I was ranked number 15 in my class. I'm very excited to be here, and before anything, I would like to thank Dr. Garcia and everybody at the Texas Exes for their undying support, along with the City of Brownsville. Truly, it's something that I cannot express my utter gratitude in mere words, so thank you very much. Like I said, I graduated from Rivera High School. I was very much involved with music. That's actually what I'm going to be pursuing at UT Austin. I'm going to be a music performance major. And it's my life. It's what I love to do. I did it for 4 years at Rivera, and it's just something that I have an undying passion and love for, and I'm very, very excited to continue it moving forward. So once again, I would like to thank the city and everybody at the Texas Exes for their undying support.
Thanks.
Hello, I'm Rafael Longoria, and I will be receiving the scholarship too. I graduated at Veterans Memorial Early College High School. I started off going into high school being a lot into music. I was in the band program for 2 years, and my sophomore year, I ended up being able to go into Allstate, to make it to Allstate. And after that, I decided to look more into what really was my passion, which was engineering, which I had been doing all 4 years. I received my space, STOL, when I graduated, and I will be attending the University of Texas at Austin, and I will be studying aerospace engineering. I'd like to thank the city and Texas Exes for this amazing opportunity, and I'd like to thank you for your support for me.
Congratulations.
2 of our students aren't here with us today because they're actually going through orientation. Aldo Baez from Pace Early College High School and Amber Castro from Porter High School. But again, thank you very much. This is something that, again, is a reflection of our community, what we do in our community to support these young people, these students, as they've gone through school. And again, Brownsville's always had a strong presence there at the UT Austin campus. So thank you very much for having us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. And for those that don't know, Dr. Lee Garcia, he's been involved in Texas Exes for quite a long time and been involved in leading the charge on the scholarship recipients and reading the applications, which I was a part of for many years. And certainly don't forget the time I spent in Austin. It's some of the best times of my life. So those of you that are going to UT, congratulations. Don't forget how to do this. You're going to be doing this for a long time. But congratulations. Thanks for being here. And Dr. Lee, thanks for bringing the students here and introducing them to us. It really is an honor for us. And y'all are going to make us proud up there in Austin. So thanks.
Thank you very much. I don't know if we'd be able to take a picture.
Sure.
Thank you.
Come on up.
Nice. I like it. And right here. 1, 2, 3. Thank y'all.
Our next item is notification to City Commission pursuant to Chapter 38 Code of Ethics, Article 6 Financial Disclosure, Section 38-156 Financial Disclosure Report, subsection F1G2, regarding personal financial statements filed by city officials, designated city employees, and designated board and commission members, Office of the City Secretary. Next slide, please. Next slide. Today, I will be presenting to you the items regarding the personal financial statement filings and my duty as city secretary to notify the commission who has filed and who hasn't filed. This is under the Code of Ordinances of Brownsville, Texas, Chapter 38. I'll be going over all of these items listed in the slide. Next slide. The Code of Ordinances, that should say Chapter 38, Article 4, Section 38-156, relates to the financial disclosure reports of certain persons required to file the financial report. Next slide. So this is a listing of who's required to file. City Commission members, city manager, city auditor, city attorney, board members of JBIC, board members of BCIC, members of Brownsville Planning and Zoning Commission, members of Brownsville Zoning Board of Adjustment, members of Brownsville Public Utilities Board, and members of the Building and Standards Committee, but that is currently an inactive committee. Also, candidates for City Commission are also required, but currently we have no candidates. Since the city auditor position was vacant, there was no official in that position to file for the calendar year 2021. Next slide. So the due date and the personal financial statement, as y'all know, is required for the calendar year 2021, and it was due on May 2nd, 2022. Next slide. So these are the listings of everyone that filed by the deadline. Next slide. And then this is the listing of those who filed after the May 2nd deadline, but they did not request an extension. And as you can see, most of them were only 1 day past the deadline. Next slide. These are people who filed after the May 2nd deadline and where they did request an extension, and they were given an extension for 15 days, which is what the ordinance grants me the authority to do. And these are the dates that they filed on. The next slide, please. We had 3 individuals that submitted a report without an appropriate signature. I did follow up with them and let them know that they would need to submit it to me with an appropriate signature. There's basically 2 places that are required to sign. Then I followed up with them again to tell them that I still had not received it. And as of this date, I still have not received those reports with their signature. I did send them a final notice email on May 18th, 2022. Next slide. As you can see, these are the members of the different boards who have not filed at all. We did have Mr. Slackman with the Board of Adjustment. He did send a letter to the city secretary, which I forwarded to the city attorney, and the city attorney responded to Mr. Slackman. So these are the members. You see there's a few with the Board of Adjustment, BCIC, and then some that had requested an extension that did not file at all after requesting the extension. And then we had 1 member with Planning and Zoning that sent an email, I believe, to the commission and to the city secretary and city attorney saying that he was not going to complete the personal financial statement and that he resigned effective of the due date. Next slide, please. So the initial notice, which was required by the ordinance, was sent on January 5th, 2022. A follow-up email was sent to board and commissioners due to the amendment, board and commission members, due to the Chapter 38 amendment that was made by the City Commission, which basically said that those members of the boards and commissions were not required to file every section of the personal financial statement. So I sent an email to them letting them know which sections they were required to file. Then I sent a second reminder out to all required people that had not filed on April 22nd through the 25th, reminding them of the upcoming deadline. And then I sent a third reminder on May 3rd after the deadline, and I sent a final notice on May 18th. Next slide. So I felt there were some challenges that some of the actual board members faced. Some of them didn't understand the requirements. Some of them still didn't understand what to include on the report. Some didn't, as I noted, didn't sign statements in the correct locations, and did not understand the process of filing extensions. And as you saw, some board members did choose to resign due to the new requirements. Next slide. So some suggested proactive measures that I came up with. I coordinated with the MAD team on this presentation, and they helped me with it too, is having a training or refresher session for both newly appointed and existing board and newly elected commission members, and also have workshops during city commission meetings or board meetings, and have a mandatory onboarding training and materials and an orientation packet when people are newly elected or appointed, and also training the recording secretaries for these boards to include the personal financial statement requirements in their new board member orientation. Next slide. So this is the end of my notification to you. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I think also another thing you may want to consider is when somebody's applying for a board, if their application involves having interest in one of these boards where a personal financial statement is required, I think there should be something that alerts them at that point when they're applying that there is a personal financial statement required, and maybe the terms of that statement so that they can understand and agree to that, I guess, at the time that they're applying. I don't really see much of a point to having workshops or anything like that to explain a simple form, quite honestly. But I mean, it's not just my opinion, it's the rest of the commission as well. I understand that some people may not like it. I'm not sure how many people have actually looked at the statement or looked at the actual documentation, because it's not asking you to tell us how much money you have. It's really just a very basic document asking for some general information. So I don't know whether the people that may have not done it yet have actually looked at it. I don't know. But if there is any other concerns that we need to know, I'd like to know. If there's some concern about privacy or other information, I'd like to know.
I don't know what they expressed. I know some of them did call the city attorney, and I'm not sure what they expressed to him, but I was going to tell you regarding your suggestion, we could actually put a link on the application form where they could read that ahead of time, and it says, if you're applying for these boards, this is, what is required.
Something else I'd like to see us start to consider, and I understand it's different because some of these folks were appointed when that was not an expectation, but especially for people applying to these boards, while this is the expectation, I think we should consider something in our policies that if somebody refuses to comply or fails to comply within a reasonable amount of time, that it's an automatic resignation. That way the commission can go back and reappoint. Because if we don't do something, if we don't take some type of action, then what good is the law if nobody's going to comply with it and we're not going to enforce it?
Well, at this point, that there is actually already a remedy, and that would be a complaint submitted to the EAC. And the EAC has the authority to make recommendations to this council, to this commission, as to the removal. So those safeguards are already there.
That's an opportunity that, yeah, if somebody files an ethics complaint. But if no one files an ethics complaint, these folks could sit on these boards for another year without complying with the ethics code.
I think also, Commissioner, I think the city commission has the ability to remove a member pretty much at any time.
At any time, correct.
So we can always just put it on our
Except
agenda and
statutory boards.
remove
Yes.
members if that's the case.
That may be something we want to consider.
Yeah, well, I think there should be, there has to be some sort of teeth in it.
I mean, I like those that are asking for extension, that's good. That shows good faith, they're working with us.
Yeah, I agree with that.
My comment, I agree with everything that was said. And I know that times have changed since I was first elected, but, there was no orientation of any kind, not even a list of phone numbers when I was first elected. And, you know, if it's a newly elected commissioner, and I'll only speak for myself, who does not, you know, as a physician, I was not used to filling out forms like this. It wasn't something that came naturally. I had to figure it out. There was really very few people I could ask. There wasn't anyone designated within the city administration that was appointed to help me get oriented to all of that. So identifying, especially with newly elected, never been an elected official before, who is the go-to person for that elected official that can receive that orientation, so that they don't have to search around like I did.
Yes, Commissioner, and we do have a prospective candidate orientation planned in our work plan this year. When we do have the election, to ahead of time have a orientation for people that may be interested, so that we can go over the requirements for not just filing as a candidate, but then, you know, what forms are required to file, and even if you're elected, what to expect once you're elected and what the filing requirements are.
Yeah, because actually, those of us that were running a few years ago learned that there's a personal financial statement required from candidates also upon filing within a certain amount of time, because there was several, I think, candidates at the time, me included, were threatened by the city attorney at the time for not having done it. And it was a little bit of theater, but we all got it done pretty quickly.
And Mayor, Commissioners, there's also a provision, unfortunately it doesn't apply to the commissioners, but to board members, that once they file their initial PFS, that they can file a short form which just says, nothing's changed since last year. And so it's not as intrusive, it's not as taxing on those board members.
I missed that memo.
Well,
But it doesn't apply to us, you said, right?
but as a commission too, we took proactive steps to make it less tedious for members with all this in mind. So I don't know how else we can make it shorter or less intrusive at this point. I think we've kind of done as much as we could in that regard.
It's fair today. I think we've made it fair.
All right,
Okay, anything else?
that's all.
All right, our
Thank you.
next item is City of Brownsville Employee Handbook Update.
Mayor, Commissioners, before I start the update real quick, I think some of the commissioners were not being, if you're a commissioner and you're virtual, can you please have your camera on? Just a requirement for state compliance. This is an update to the employee handbook. Just very briefly, at the previous meeting, there was the issue brought up as to it's titled the Employee Relations paragraph of the the employee handbook. Our legal team went back and reviewed kind of the history of the adoption of the employee handbook. In our review of all the documents we were able to attain at the time, and even trying to consult with it was the Marici Management Group, who was a consultant hired to facilitate this document. Our research found that there was several meetings amongst department heads, employees, and so a lot of the issues that were discussed and brought up dealt with a lot of the vacation and leave issues, some other with, on the legal side, some compliance issues with state law as to open carries, things like that. But the issue of the employee relations paragraph never came up and was not properly presented to the city commission. It's my opinion that that paragraph was not properly vetted by this commission and therefore not part of the employee handbook. Now, if the commission would like to add that paragraph or adopt a paragraph of varied language to that effect, we can bring that back for official adoption. But otherwise, at this point, I'll take the commission's direction. But at this point, it's my opinion that that paragraph has actually not been properly adopted by the city commission.
I think the easiest thing to do is just see if there's anybody in the commission who wants that language in. If not, then I think we're on the same page with you.
And if that's the case, just administratively, we'll update the policy to reflect what was adopted, I believe, back on January. I got my dates here. It was adopted in January, but made into effect in March. So
And if for some reason, just for housekeeping purposes, you need to bring it back to us to approve without that language, then we can do that as well.
it's my opinion that because it wasn't properly presented before the City Commission, it's not part of it.
Okay,
So the only reason I would bring it back is if the commission wanted to adopt it.
okay.
Counselor, quick question. On the versions of the handbook that went out to employees to review before it came to commission, was that language anywhere in there?
It was, the third draft was submitted in March 30, 2021, and we had a number of meetings with both leadership and employees dating from April of 2021 all the way to August of 2021. So it's,
And we didn't get any pushback on that at that time?
no, a lot of concern from employees were the more day-to-day policies that related to leave, vacation, that type of stuff.
And I know throughout that, I kept in contact with several employees as well, including union employees, and that was never anything that I got feedback on the commission needing to address. Thank you.
If that's it, and that concludes my report.
Thank you.
Our next item is consent agenda items 1 through 6.
Motion to approve?
Second.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Is there any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Our next item is public hearings. Item 1, public hearing and action on resolution number 2022-033, making findings related to the Madeira Espiritu Santo Public Improvement District Number 1, including advisability of improvements, the estimated improvement costs, boundaries of the district, method of assessment, and apportionment of costs between the City of Brownsville and the district. Planning and Redevelopment Department.
Good evening, Mayor. Tonight, we're asking you to hold a public hearing regarding the development of a public improvement district on the 1,300-acre Madeira development tract. This is also an action on a resolution to authorize the Madeira development team to file all documents required to create the public improvement district. Just for the commission's information, this does not involve any local tax money. No money will be allocated to the PID by the city. The PID will assess against those property owners that voluntarily elect to move into the subdivision. The time they close their real estate documents, they're informed that there's a monthly fee to finance the activities of the PID. So with that, we recommend you conduct your public hearing.
Okay, this is a public hearing. Is anybody here who wishes to speak on this item?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to this item. My name is Bill Calderon with Calderon Economic Development Strategies. I'll try to be brief. Do we have presentation? Here we go. Okay. First slide, basically the same slide that I presented 2 weeks ago, so I won't bother you with going through it, but it's just the essential elements of the project and project development. Second slide deals with the incentives associated with this. And just a quick recap, we had a TERS created in 2020. Total development for the overall project was $325 million. The TERS plan that was presented during the creation time reflected $197 million worth of improvements, of which 174.3 were included in a development reimbursement agreement. So the vast majority was covered in the agreement, but we only expect about 72% or so of that to actually be covered by the TERS based on current projections. Groundbreaking on this project was in February of 2022 and includes earthwork, roads, utilities, and residential lots that are being prepped for the first 2 phases. All of the 277 lots have been sold to a handful of developers, and work is very much underway. I noted on my way down here that they're doing storm sewers, and so things are really moving along. The tools that we talked about having for this deal included the PID that we're here to talk about, the creation of a local government corporation, and utilization of a management district for assessments on commercial property. As it relates to the PID, there is the statute requires that there be 2 public hearings. The first of which, this one would be to allow the city to formally make the required findings pursuant to Chapter 372. The resolution that you have before you as part of the action item associated with this actually tracks the statute fairly closely. And it does require that, as far as the findings go, that the city determine, actually, I'm looking at this. I think this is the presentation from 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. It is. So if you'll bear with me, I'll just read from the presentation that I submitted. The petition does require, or rather, the petition complies with Chapter 372 in that it was filed May 10th of 2022. The statute requires that you make a finding regarding the standing of the petitioner. Effectively, that means that they're owners of the property and they are the majority owners for all of the property. In this case, it's 100%. So we clearly make that finding. And evidence of their ownership was provided in the form of an appraisal district record reflecting the ownership of 100% of the land. The general nature of the PID is also set forth in the petition. And again, your caption pretty much captures all of this. But for the record, I'd like to read quickly that the PID petition cited construction and/or maintenance of certain streets, paving, water, wastewater, drainage facilities, stormwater detention facilities, landscape and streetscape improvements, public entryway signage, public trails, recreational facilities, parks, green spaces, belts, and lake amenities, fountains, lighting, public art, public facilities, off-street parking, and administrative costs, including engineering services, legal, and administrative. Okay? In addition to that finding, the statute does require that the petition reflect how much is contemplated would be assessed at the maximum point of development. In other words, once full build-out is complete. And based on the 2,900 plus homes that we're anticipating. And this is, by the way, just to be clear, assessments only on residential property. We're estimating $4,135,643 would be assessed on an annual basis to cover all of the maintenance costs associated with those public improvements. It's a fairly massive list of things that will be developed out there, and the petition reflected that amount. In addition to that, the petition did have the boundaries in the form of the meets and bounds attached to it, along with a map. And it did set forth the method of assessment, reflecting that it was exclusive on residential property, equal across each property, so that everyone paid regardless of the value of the property. For the first 2 phases, we are finding $962 annually per lot will cover the estimated costs of maintenance for the first 2 phases. In addition to that, there will be an additional $120 per lot that will be assessed for use in the implementation of a security system, construction of a security system in the form of cameras throughout the neighborhoods. The total assessment for the first 2 phases is estimated at just over $310,000 annually. That level of assessment will, at $962 plus the $120, we do anticipate will need to be adjusted upward as time passes. The PID statute does require that municipalities that create these mechanisms consider the 5-year assessment plan on an annual basis and adjusted for 5 years every year. And as we come forward to you and consider the additional phases as they develop, we will present what the math indicates we will need and ask the commission to adjust that assessment rate based on that need, so that we do anticipate that over time, in order to get to that $4 million figure, we see the assessments growing to just over $1,300 a year. But it's going to take about 10 to 12 years to get there. There is a requirement that the petition set forth this concept of apportionment of cost. Simply that is how much the PID is going to cover versus how much a governmental entity might cover. In this case, it would be the city. The petition reflects that the PID will finance 100% of all of the maintenance costs, so there will be zero cost to the city. And that, frankly, is the big reason why we had suggested to staff that we go this direction, to minimize the burden to the city. Lastly, the petition also has language in it regarding management of the PID. Statute typically requires, since this is a city-created mechanism, that it be a city-managed process for all of the collections and the financing and such. We are going to recommend to the commission, once the local government corporation is created, that the commission consider approval of an agreement that would shift the responsibility for management of the daily operations of the PID to the LGC, because it's a more efficient mechanism. You would collect the assessment revenues and send them to the local government corporation, and the board of directors, that would actually be the TERS board and the OGC board, would also manage this PID if you were to use that model. We've used a similar approach in multiple jurisdictions, and it adds significant efficiencies to the effort. Those are the findings that are required, and that essentially is the purpose of this findings hearing. The resolution that you would consider basically restates everything that I just told you. It documents that proper notice was given, and that the commission is making these findings, and that in so doing that it believes that the creation of the PID is in the city's interest and advisable pursuant to 372. The commission would also find that carrying out the project will confer special benefits to the assessment payers, since they're going to be surrounded by all of these improvements that are going to be maintained by the PID. And it restates the essential elements filed in the petition. We are recommending approval of that resolution. That essentially is what I've got to share on the hearing itself. There is a next steps slide that I can either speak to now or after you adopt the resolution or consider the resolution. And that concludes my comments.
Thank you, Mr. Calderon. If you'd like, you can also leave your resume to Mr. Vasquez in case we have any openings in the planning department with your knowledge and expertise. Just need to make your presentation.
Thank you very much. But, quite honestly, and thank you for the opportunity to say this. Working with your staff has really been a joy and a pleasure. They've been very, very helpful and collaborative. And we thank everybody for all of their efforts, because it's made this process very smooth for us.
It's great to hear. Thank you. Do we have any questions or anything from the commission? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who wishes to speak on this item? All right, do I have a motion to close?
Second.
We have a motion to close in a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
All right, those opposed? Do we have any, this is a public hearing. It is an action item, so do we have any motions on this?
Second.
We have a motion to approve in a second. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. All right, thank you.
Our next item is items for individual consideration. Item 1, consideration and action on resolution number 2022-040 to create the Madeira Espiritu Santo Redevelopment Authority and approving the certificate of formation and the bylaws, confirming the appointment of the initial board of directors as the TERS Zone number 4 board, and relating findings required by Chapter 341 of the Texas Local Government Code, Planning and Redevelopment Department.
Mayor and members of the commission, this is also related to the Madeira development. This is a local government corporation. This is a resolution that will allow for the developer to create the local government corporation. It's not to be used as a vehicle to raise ad valorem taxes. This is purely for a financing vehicle to help the developer use a tax-exempt municipal bond structure. If they want to issue bonds and recapitalize their construction fund, they'd have to come to the City Commission for approval to do that. This merely will create the vehicle to accomplish that task. With that, we just need resolution, approval of the resolution.
Okay, do we have any motions?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Item 2, consideration and action on resolution number 2022-039, consenting to the creation of the Madeira Espiritu Santo Management District, Planning and Redevelopment Department.
Mayor and members of the commission, this is the third and final tool for the Madeira Development Team. This is very similar to the Public Improvement District that applies to the residential part of the development. This will only apply to the commercial development. It's not a tax. This is a fee that will be assessed to businesses that elect to locate within the Madeira Development's commercial projects, and they will be assessed a monthly fee for the maintenance of the common spaces, the parking lots, the fountains, the trails, and so forth that impact the commercial part of the Madeira Development. This is just a resolution. We need the commission's approval for them to move forward to create the district.
Just a quick question, Ms. Vasquez. I saw the board members in the setup of the initial, I guess you could say I don't know whether it's committee or board. Did the county already do their part on this?
The county has not acted on the local government corporation. Okay, so we're just going to use the TERS, the same board that's appointed by the City Commission for the TERS on the Madeira. They'll serve as the local government corporation board.
Okay, fine. Yeah, because I saw some members on there that I assume were appointed by the county.
Yeah. those-
Okay, all right. Do we have any motions on this?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Item 3, consideration and action to approve the price increase on the contract agreement for Peterson Construction Company Incorporated for the street milling and overlay services for the Brownsville Engineering and Public Works Department. This project is funded through Capital Improvement Project and Community Development Block Grant, IFB number SMO 6980921, Engineering and Public Works Department.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I got Dodo actually online, and he's going to be making this presentation and the next one, the next two presentations. But anyways, I wanted to mention that Dodo is actually live from Philadelphia. He's up there with Damaris presenting one of our city drainage projects before a national audience. And, you know, that is the Water Plane Park at Four Corners, which actually is a dual project. It serves as a detention for that flooding in that area. Plus, during the dry season, it would also function as a park. It's going to have some park equipment. So I'm very proud, and I hope they come back with an award.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. Can you hear me clear?
We can hear you. Thanks.
Okay. This particular contract is with Peterson Construction. As you may recall, a couple of meetings ago, we had the asphalt contract presented due to the increases of material and petroleum products. This particular contract is for our mill and overlays. We don't have any particular streets that we're presenting right now. It's simply the contract for an on-call contractor that gives us the flexibility whenever we have additional funding or funding that we cannot expend with our own public works crews. We utilize our on-call contract to assist with that. They also assist with CDBG projects as well as our CIP projects. This particular contract, the increases that they've had in the petroleum and the asphalt products that they utilize exceed the 25%. However, due to the contract requirements, the contractor is at this time, you know, if we don't see any more increases, he's okay just increasing the 25% that is allowed. Therefore, we're recommending approval on this current contract. In the future, if the contract prices do increase beyond this, we would likely have to re-advertise this contract. I don't know if y'all have any questions at this time.
Dodo, how long is the term of this contract?
The term of this contract, it's a 2-year contract with 1-year renewals, I believe is what we have on this contract.
Okay, and, council, is it common to come back to the commission to approve something like this? Because I know, I mean, obviously, we signed this a while back. The intent of the procurement process is to ensure that you're going to get the best and most qualified bidder. Typically, we don't have situations where they want to come back to us regarding price issues, so I'm a little hesitant on this. I just want to make
No,
sure.
This is definitely a circumstance of the economic situations right now, and the reason why the prices were over the 25%, but the contractor has agreed to keep it within the 25% threshold. So as a matter of transparency, that's why we brought it back to the city commission. I will also say that if the worst case scenario, it exceeds the 25%, there are other options. We could tag into a interlocal a cooperative with another entity that has a contract with this vendor. It's just that the prices are going up so fast, so high and so fast, so quickly. So
Yeah, and I'm starting to hear that prices are starting to go down. So is there some sort of price index that keeps track of this?
yes, it's all tied to the consumer price index,
Okay.
CPI.
Correct.
All right. Do we have any other questions from the commission? Okay, Dodo, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Item 4, consideration and action to award contract for the street and drainage improvement project for Calle Norteña, Calle Buenos Aires, and Jose Marti Boulevard, located in District 3 for the amount of $4,894,966.08 to G&T Paving LLC as budgeted IFB number SPD-47-0662, Engineering and Public Works Department.
Good afternoon once again, Mayor Commissioners. On this particular item, if you may or may not recall, back in February of 2021, we awarded this contract to RNG Enterprises, which included Calle Jose Marti, Norteña, Buenos Aires, and Costa Rica. At the onset of this contract, we had issues with Costa Rica, and in December, we terminated the contract with RNG Enterprises and brought G&T Paving to finalize that project. At that particular time, it was only for Calle Costa Rica. We now have gone back and re-advertised for the construction of the remaining 3 streets of this project, which is Jose Marti, Calle Norteña, and Calle Buenos Aires. We only received 1 bid for this project, which is the bid that we're presenting to you all today. We're recommending approval for this contract as well. If you all have any questions, I'll be glad to answer them at this time.
Is there any questions? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve.
We have a motion to approve in a
I have
second.
a question, or. I
Yes,
have a
Commissioner, go ahead.
question. Dodo, how does it compare to what was allotted to other districts, the price? Because it seems pretty high, over 4 million for 3 streets. And I realize that the price of materials is higher, but, yeah.
When we bid these projects initially, they were all pretty comparable. At this time, from the original bid to the current bid, we have an increase of almost 40%. So it is significantly higher for this particular project right now. When it was originally planned and bid, we were all in conformance throughout the districts. I think we're going to start seeing that in the future with our paving projects that, due to the pricing increases, we're gonna have to adjust some of our budgets.
So in your professional opinion as an engineer, is the quote that since we only have 1 quote, is that reasonable, within what you would have thought that it would cost?
It's comparable to our other estimates that we've been doing in similar projects, not as big as these, but the smaller ones. If you look at our mill and overlay contract, even what we're paying for materials right now, there's a lot of supply issues that we're having right now. We're having to use alternate materials for our bases right now with the limestone shortage. that we've been having, so it is comparable and within the pricing that we've seen right now. And most of the like, if for example, if we were to prolong this another 30 days or so, the pricing on the contractors, they may not be able to hold that pricing right now. It's the market is still very, it's very hard to predict right now.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or discussion? We had a motion and a second, so those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
I'm
Thank
stepping
you.
out for the next item, Mayor.
Okay.
Item 5, consideration and action to approve a memorandum of understanding with the Midi Foundation and Midi Cultural District, establishing the cost share of reasonable operating expenses in support of the Midi Cultural District. This item was tabled on June 7th, 2022, City Manager's Office.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Elizabeth Walker in the Office of the City Manager, and I'm accompanied this evening at the podium by Ms. Veronica Garcia, who is new in the role as Executive Director of the Midi Cultural District. And we approach you this evening because we heard you loud and clear last meeting with some feedback you had regarding the Memorandum of Understanding presented in its initial draft towards a cost share or the city's contribution towards some initiatives that they have planned at the Midi Cultural District. And so Ms. Garcia and I had the opportunity to sit down, work through some of the concerns that you expressed, update that MOU, and we've brought back to you a revised document for your consideration this evening. Let's walk through some of those changes.
Can I interrupt? Sorry about
Of
that,
course.
Elizabeth. City Attorney, I can't see the screen of who's sitting there, but are there 4 city commissioners or including the mayor in person there?
There are, yes, Commissioner,
Okay.
and I'll also add, maybe, Mayor, can we just untable this as we start discussing it? It's tabled, so we need to untable it.
Thank you.
Untable is what you said?
Correct,
Okay.
untable.
Do you want to, we can go ahead and do that now. Can we have a motion to remove?
Motion to untable the item.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? All right.
Thank you, Mr. City Attorney. As I was saying, what has not changed, obviously, is the partner towards this initiative, the Midi Cultural District itself, which was created in 1998. This truly is an extension of an existing collaboration with Midi Cultural District, which it is they already have underway a $2.5 million public improvement in the form of the Buena Vida Arts and Cultural Park. Through that construction, they are already entered into a grant match with the city and a one-to-one to contribute towards the public restrooms in the park at the Cannery Public Market space. As an outgrowth of that conversation and their investment there at that park, the Midi Cultural District did approach the city about expanding that one-to-one grant arrangement towards the operations of the Midi Cultural District itself. And so incorporating some of the feedback we heard from the commission last meeting about tangible deliverables that the Midi Cultural District can provide to demonstrate compliance towards this match. They have proposed the following. 4 deliverables over 4 various quarters over the 2-year original term period of that MOU. All of these are identified with the intent of pursuing a cultural district designation by the Texas Commission on the Arts. And truly then there's really a 2-pronged benefit through this goal or this initiative. And that's first and foremost to enhance the capacity of local cultural amenities primarily within the district, but certainly across the city. And second is to establish diverse revenue streams for self-sufficient funding of the district itself. And so what it is that we have identified in the revised MOUs for performance measurements and tangible deliverables is to organize and host financial workshops for local nonprofits this 4th quarter of 2022, file building permits for a food truck park in 2nd quarter of 2023, organize and host a unique cultural festival in 4th quarter 2023, And fourth and finally, submit a letter of intent for that cultural district designation with the state of Texas. Again, too, we just wanted to share with you some of the other opportunities in which it is the Midi Cultural District through the Midi Foundation has participated in at least a one-to-one match with the city on other public improvements throughout the district, including, as I mentioned, the Cannery public restrooms, public art displays, and certain park security cameras. There was a question at the last meeting regarding the Midi Cultural District funding, so we wanted to address that here in this slide. Obviously, it has various sources, but the Midi Foundation itself is supporting the personnel expenses. The city's contribution under this MOU does not support personnel. It does not contribute towards staffing. It instead supports the work of that staffing. There was also a mention last meeting about the city's involvement within the cultural district. And so on this slide, we simply wanted to call attention to the number of board seats that the city holds. So again, the financial ask is as presented last week. The city will contribute no more than $50,000 per year, and that will be matched at least 1-to-1, though more likely 2-to-1 by the foundation in the years of 2022 and 2023. We're happy to entertain any questions.
Is there any questions from the commission?
I have one. City Attorney, have you had an opportunity to review the documents?
Yes, Commissioner.
And because I read the packet last night, and what was included in our packet, there was no mention about the bathrooms. So do you find what you've read to be complete and it represents the information we've been provided this week and last week?
If you can go to the slide that has the 4 reporting criteria.
Of course. Yes, Commissioner, and if I need to clarify, we're only making reference that the bathroom collaboration is under a previous MOU. We were just providing here some context to the ongoing collaboration on other initiatives with the Midi Cultural District. The restrooms are not part of this MOU.
Yeah, if you could go to the right.
It's limited to these 4
those are the
deliverables.
Yes, those are the 4 deliverables that were included into the agreement.
Did that answer your question, Commissioner?
Okay, but so like what kind of financial workshops for the local nonprofits and
So currently what we have planned now for these workshops would be a grant writing seminar for the nonprofits that are within the Midi Cultural District, in addition to a different workshop that is for providing more social media and marketing to assist those nonprofits that don't have the bandwidth to do their own. We want to go ahead and help them host those kinds of workshops as well. So those are just the first 2 that we have, but we are currently researching other opportunities to bring in the members of the Midi Cultural District to have workshops that would help benefit their organizations.
Do you have any other questions from the commission?
Just a clarification, I think you answered it already, Elizabeth, in terms of those 4, the bathroom, not these 4, but the slide that showed the bathrooms and the park cameras and all that stuff. Who from the city is going to be watching that, that the funds were used for those items?
For those items that are separate and apart from this MOU? Do you mean the restrooms, for example, or do you mean these 4? These 4, the intention is that there will be, that is the proof to request a draw then on the MOU appropriation reserved for that quarter. So the MOU speaks to no more than $50,000 a year, as much as twice per year. This is the corresponding tangible instrument that the city would be looking for as evidence to then make that payment in accordance with the MOU.
And is there some sort of accountability that looks at the spending at the end of the year or goes through, I mean, not an audit necessarily, but is there some sort of check on the spending to ensure that it's in line with what the agreements are? Obviously, you can't do that for this one, but has there been in the past?
Well, I believe, Mayor, that that is the intention precisely with this one, that hearing what it is the commission gave feedback about wanting some sort of performance measurement associated with the $50,000, we wanted to make sure that that was some physical instrument, right? Like something that the district could provide to the city as evidence in order to then receive that allocation. So these are what it is that in working together and thinking through what is the work plan that is assigned to Ms. Garcia for the immediate future, what of that work plan would have a corresponding evidence? And so this is in our work, in our conversations together, it seemed that these four had some sort of written evidence, right? Whether that be the permit itself as filed or the letter of interest as submitted to the state.
Any other questions, concerns from the commission?
I'm going to be really specific. So we all know that Brian Martinez does marketing for the Midi Cultural
Commissioner,
District.
can you speak louder? You're kind of chopping up a little bit.
Okay, sure. So we all know that Brian Martinez does marketing for the Midi Cultural District and that he's also Commissioner de los Santos's chief of staff. One of the requirements is to organize and host a unique cultural festival, which would entail marketing. Will he be, if he gets paid city funds or, partly city funds to promote, say, this unique cultural festival, is there a conflict of interest?
So I assume that's a question for legal. Because Commissioner De Los Santos has abstained from this, there wouldn't be any conflict on his end. These are funds being appropriated to these four deliverables. For those reasons, it's my opinion that there would not be a conflict.
In the event that that opinion changes, council, just go ahead and let us know.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other questions?
I have a question. So the maintenance of the restrooms, cameras, the cannery, public market, are you using the 50,000 on that or no?
No,
So why is it on here?
it was just meant to acknowledge the philanthropy of the Midi
That
Foundation.
it's already been done?
Yes,
Okay, so we spoke about the maintenance last time. Is that no longer going to be part of the $50,000?
no, sir.
Are we
what-
still going to be doing that, though? We're still going to maintain those restrooms? Is that still part of the city's obligation?
Not under this MOU, but under separate instrument as part of the cannery project. Yes, Commissioner.
Okay, and that is how much? Do we have an idea?
We will be submitting to the MIDI for final costs when as billed.
Okay, so we are already going to be supporting them with this. This is a second ask, correct? All right, thank you.
Yeah, the examples, correct me if I'm wrong, but the examples you gave, the one-to-one matches, that's a Midi Foundation, right? So, I mean, it's the Midi Cultural District that's asking for this money. Although the foundation is putting up some, they're just asking us to match.
Correct. The MIDI Foundation is the one that had submitted then this partnership, this request for a partnership, but the MIDI Cultural District is the beneficiary.
Right.
So it's essentially, and that's why it is, there's multiple signature lines on that MOU to essentially acknowledge that the MIDI Foundation is contributing, the city itself is contributing, the district itself is the beneficiary and has the burden of proof of these deliverables.
Right.
It would be great moving forward, I know you're new, that every year you put out some kind of a newsletter, or I don't know what you want to call it, a memo of what the Midi Foundation has contributed to the city each year. So not just for our benefit, but for the public benefit as well.
On those restrooms, will they be open always, or how does it work? Because I've been out there during farmers market, it's tough.
Yes, they are
Are they
intended to be
supposed to be
open.
open?
Yes, Commissioner.
Just don't drink water before, Commissioner. Don't drink water before going to the farmer's market. Any other questions? Commissioner, do you have? Okay, anyone else? All right, this is an action item. Do we have any motions?
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? I'll second. Any discussion? Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Those,
I would like to abstain.
okay, so you're abstaining, Commissioner Galansky's abstaining, Commissioner Cowan, and myself have voted aye. Commissioner Cardenas?
Aye.
Okay, so that's 4 ayes. We're good. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Our next item is board appointments. Item 1, consideration and action on resolution number 2022-031 to appoint 2 members to the Audit and Oversight Committee, Office of the City Secretary. Next slide. Per the charter amendment that was done, now the Audit and Oversight Committee is to have 5 members versus the 3 existing members that they have. So this creates 2 vacancies on that board. And this this item was created to appoint members to those 2 vacancies. Next slide. As you can see, at this time, we have not received any applications.
Okay, and yeah, I do recall that the commission voted to expand this to 5. It's been a little bit of time, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we don't necessarily need applications unless that's a preference, but did anybody have any nominations ready today? Okay, if not, then I just ask that we table this. Can we get a motion to that effect?
Motion to table.
Second. And I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to table. Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Those opposed? All right, be tabled to maybe the next meeting. Hopefully, we can get some candidates.
Our next item is item 2, consideration and action on resolution number 2022-042 to appoint 1 member to the LGBTQ+ task force, city manager's office.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, City Commission. My name is Marina Solesi with the City Manager's Office. Tonight, we do have 1 vacancy for the LGBTQ+ task force. We did receive a resignation from Jose M. Colon Uvalles II from District 4, appointed by Mayor Mendez. These are the applications we have on file. We did receive 1 on Friday, which is reflected here. Sean Kelly, currently outside of the city limits, but did share that the intention is to move within the city limits.
Is there a requirement, council, that any members live within the city limits for this committee?
No, not for this committee.
Okay, then I'm gonna go ahead and I'll nominate Sean Kelly, who's a city employee with the airport, our newest employee, to serve on this committee.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any discussion? Those in favor?
Aye.
Those, yeah, Commissioner?
She said aye.
Oh, okay. Those opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, Sean.
Item 3, consideration and action on resolution number 2022-034 to appoint or reappoint 1 member to the Brownsville Border Film Commission, Communications and Marketing Department.
Good evening, Mayor and Commission. We have a vacancy in our Brownsville Border Film Commission. In December, Ms. Marcela Ronquillo resigned to pursue the film industry. And so these are our applicants. She was appointed by Commissioner Cardenas.
Can you go back 1, please?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
I would like to reach out to these people, or they reach out to me as well. I don't know any of them. I have no information. I've asked people who are on this committee, and nobody can tell me anything about them at the moment. So I would like to table it, being it's my person who had resigned.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to table this. Those in favor? Aye. Those
Thank you.
opposed? All right,
And just one comment on this item, Mayor. On the applicant list, I see the last one listed is Rosie Williams.
yeah, she's on there.
She's on the Porter Film Commission already, so we can remove her as an applicant.
Yes, we kept her name just because she did submit an application, but she is serving, I believe, until November.
That's why I asked you to go back, because I was like, wait a minute.
Yes,
All right, okay,
we'll remove it, but
all right.
yes.
Thank you. And my understanding is you've had a problem getting quorum on this?
Yes, I believe with this fourth person, we'll be able to take action with the Film Commission. We still continue to provide updates and meet with those who have engaged with us.
Yeah, because I saw I think you attached an attendance list, but it was kind of hard to understand with who was showing up and who wasn't. But obviously, if we have 6 members and you're not getting a quorum, there's some issues there.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Item 4, consideration and action on resolution number 2022-038 to appoint 1 new member to the Greater Brownsville Incentives Corporation Board of Directors to fill an existing vacancy. City Manager's Office.
I'll go ahead and take this one, Mayor Commissioners. This is a follow-up from the last meeting. Commissioner Gowan made her appointment at that point, and we still had a vacancy from Commissioner Golansky to make her appointment. So this is a resolution to appoint 1 new member to the GBIC Board of Directors to fill that vacancy.
Okay, so just a question of, we still have Commissioner Cowan and Commissioner Golansky on the board presently, correct?
No. Commissioner Golansky's not on the board. That's the vacancy we're going to fill tonight.
Right.
Okay, I don't know what the status is.
Yes, that's correct. That's it.
Okay, all right. Okay. So if Commissioner Golansky, I believe this would be your nomination then?
Here's my problem. The person that I want to get appointed has not submitted her personal financial statement and is not likely to do so. So I'm not ready, and this is really just, it's something that was not planned. I voiced my opinion last time, and I voiced my opinion when we adopted this resolution. And so there's not more than I can do. So that's it.
Okay,
I'll move to table.
yep. We have a motion and a second to table. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, it'll be tabled. Thank you.
Our next item is executive session, and I will read the items. Item 1, closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, consultation with attorney related to Brownsville GMS Limited versus City of Brownsville, Texas, Supreme Court Case Number 21.0841. Item 2, closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, related to legal review of qualified projects under Chapter 351 of the Texas Tax Code. Item 3, closed session pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Consultation with city attorney. Section 551.072, discussion related to the exchange, lease, or sale of real property, generally located along Paredes Line Road, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas, and Section 551.087, economic development negotiations related to project label, City Manager's Office. Item 4, closed session pursuant to Section 551.071 of the Texas Government Code. Consultation with attorney, Section 551.072, discussion related to exchange, lease, or sale of real property generally located along East 10th Street and East Fronton Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas, and Section 551.087, economic development negotiations related to Project Riverfront, City Manager's Office. Item 5, closed session pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071, related to legal updates regarding fiber network agreement. Item 6, closed session pursuant to Section 551.087, subsection 1, Texas Government Code regarding commercial or financial information that the city of Brownsville has received from a business prospect that the governmental body seeks to have locate, stay, or expand in or near the city, and with which the city is conducting economic development negotiations, and to deliberate financial or other incentives to the same regarding Project Shield. City Manager's Office.
Motion to move to executive.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to go to executive session. Those in favor? Aye? Aye. We'll recess the executive session. Thank you.
It is now 6:30 PM, and the City Commission is going into executive session. Did you take it in there? It is now 7:54 PM and the city commission is reconvening into open session.
There they
There
are.
they are.
I don't think we need a motion to reconvene. I'd like to make a motion to approve the sale of real property as discussed in executive session.
Second.
Aye.
Aye.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Aye.
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 There being no further business to come before the city commission, upon duly made motion, the meeting has adjourned at 7:56 PM.